This is a Hyundai Kona with a bent control arm. See, I got a bunch of space over here and not a lot of space over here, so that whole tire is pushed back. This is a brand new control arm. We're going to put this on this. First things first, this tire's got to come off. Here's the lower control arm. You can see this big old kink right here. That's not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be nice and flat. In order to take this control arm off, we need to access this bolt here, and this plastic cover's in the way. So this entire plastic cover under here, I think I'll be able just to drop this one side and access enough to get that bolt off. There is a 10mm bolt that's holding part of this cover on. We'll be taking that off. Up towards the front of the car, there is another 10mm bolt we need to take out. To gain even more room, we're going to take out this 10mm bolt right here. Now that we got all those little plastic clips and a couple of them screws out of this cover, we can pull it down enough to get in here and access this 17mm bolt. So we need to take out this guy. In the back here on the bottom, this is a 19mm bolt that needs to come out. And down here on the knuckle, we also need to remove this 19mm nut. First bolt we'll be removing is this knuckle guy here. Fortunately, we're gonna have to use a wrench. Now I'm gonna use this pry bar. I'm just going to use this to put a little downward pressure on this control arm. And I'm going to smack this knuckle with a hammer, and it should release this lower control arm. Nice and simple, just like that. Now we can go ahead and remove that bolt on this side of the control arm, and we'll also remove this one underneath here. We'll have to use a 19mm wrench up here to hold that nut and keep it from spinning as we drive this out. Now I'm going to pry this entire control arm out. It's going to be a little more difficult because this is so bent. It's kind of bottoming out here, but I think we'll be able to get it out. Took some fighting, but we did get this out. And if you put the old one next to the new one here, you can see just how bent that control arm actually was. So new one's nice and flat. So we'll go ahead and we'll try to fight that guy back in, get everything lined up, get all the bolts back in, and we'll tighten them down. And if you're ordering Hyundai parts, I bought this one off of eBay. It was significantly cheaper than going through the dealership, about $250 cheaper than the dealership. The flat new arm was a lot easier to put in than the old one was to take out. We've got all our bolts in, so we're just going to snug them down and then we'll torque them to spec. So Hyundai gives you a range of torque specs to use. The lower control arm, the subframe in the front is 86.6 to 101.3. The rear is gonna be 115.7 to 130.2. And then your control arm to knuckle is gonna be 43.4 to 52.1. So we'll shoot for somewhere in those ranges. Click! Click. I don't have any way of getting a torque wrench in here, so it's going to be a guess. Click. The only thing we got left is throwing our little plastic clips that hold this full plastic cover on, and there's 3 of these little bolts. We'll get those thrown in and get her all buttoned up. And of course, the very last step is getting this tire back on the car. And that's how you replace the control arm on a Hyundai Kona. So as you can see, we got about 4 fingers on this side and about 4 fingers on this side. So that tire is much more centered than it was. Overall, I would say that was a pretty easy project. The hardest thing was really just pulling out that old control arm. Since it was all bent up, it was binding in places where it probably shouldn't have been. So, job well done. I'll see you guys on the next video.